it's something that I want to read just for my own personal growth and development. But I also want to read it to dunk on people when the show comes out to say that I read the book first. You know, it's a balance. Hi, hello, how are you? Welcome back to another reading vlog. I'm going to hopefully bring you around with me for a couple of days this week as I do some interesting things in London. Today, I'm gonna get a little bit of work done, and then I'm going to walk down through the vintage stores again, maybe pick something up for myself, and then later today, I have an appointment at the Design Museum. So I have a pretty fun day planned for myself to get out of this building with this horrible construction noise that's been going on. So yeah, I'm going to get on it. I'm looking forward to having you guys with me this week. All right, so there's been a bit of a change of plans, and they were doing construction in our building and they had to replace our door completely. So I was stuck inside, and so I couldn't go to the museum. But I'm going to go out and pick my boyfriend up from work. We're going to meet halfway in the middle, so we'll be in Marylebone. It's a really cute area. There's a really cute bookstore. So not exactly how I planned my day to go, but it should be really fun nevertheless. So let's get going. Good morning. I decided to do a little bit more sit-down planning this morning because Stanford just released the list of classes that'll be offered next quarter, as well as the times during which they'll be offered. And so for the first time, I've been able to actually plan out my quarter and choose all of my classes and kind of start getting ready for the new school year. And so I didn't have that much freedom because I'm kind of just getting through my last requirements. I'm a senior studying product design, so I'm in a lot of product design classes, material science classes, and a general engineering class. So most of my schedule is pretty booked up, but there's one general education requirement that I still have, which is social inquiry. I'm missing one unit of social inquiry, but classes only come in 3 to 5 units that fulfill this general education requirement, which is kind of a bummer. So I decided to just choose something that was fun. There are a lot of really interesting politics and sociology classes that fulfill this requirement, but I think I'm going to end up taking a class on Italian culture. So kind of just talking about the different cities and the regional differences in Italy. I took a year of Italian language classes at Stanford and I absolutely loved the department. So I think I'm going to have a lot of fun just chit-chatting with some other people who like Italy about Italy next year to kind of check that off my list so that I can really focus on the classes for my major. But yeah, I had a lot of fun planning this out and gearing up for the school year. All right, good morning or good afternoon. I finished up work for the day, so now I'm finally going to go vintage shopping and go to the Design Museum. I'm really excited. Hopefully it'll be a super nice walk. And I hope you enjoyed the clips from yesterday. Marylebone is absolutely gorgeous. And then we walked home by the canal at golden hour. So I hope you enjoyed that. And yeah, I'm gonna head out. I returned and I had a really nice day just walking by myself. I listened to a lot of my audiobook. I ended up finishing the 6th Wheel of Time book, which was exceptional. I think the ending was a lot more intense than I expected it to be. And just like with all of the Wheel of Time books, they end on such crazy cliffhangers that I'm like kind of dying to start the next one. But I was a little naughty and I did pick up a few things. I picked up 2 books actually, which goes against my 1 book rule, which basically says that since I'm reading the Wheel of Time and I already have all of the Wheel of Time audiobooks and the ebooks, there's no reason for me to buy a book unless I'm so excited about it that I want to go home and read it right away. I have to be more excited to read it than to read the Wheel of Time. That really only holds for 1 book at a time because I have to be so excited that I want to start it immediately, and I can't really start 2 books immediately. So I goofed myself a little, but I'll forgive myself because a pigeon pooed on my head in the morning. So I had a rough start, so I deserved 2 books. So the first one that I got is A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas, the iconic, the legend. I've never read anything by Sarah J. Maas, and I felt like now is probably a good time to start. I got this for $1.99. The spine is like barely even broken, doesn't look like it was ever even read. So super excited to read this and finally understand what fairy sex is all about. So gonna start with this, and then the other one that I got is The Thursday Murder Club by Richard Osman. Basically in every bookstore I go to, this is like highlighted as like a bestseller must read, and I saw it for $2.99 at the Oxfam Books, and I was like, well, you know what? People seem to like this. It's a pretty popular book, and here it is for $2.99. So I kind of just jumped on the opportunity and bought it. It's also like a nice hardcover in like fairly good condition. So I decided to treat myself to 2 books. Yeah, I went into the design museum. It was awesome. I'm really glad that I went alone and I didn't drag my boyfriend, because the only exhibition that's open right now is one that focuses on the typographical evolution of London's transport systems. So like basically there's this one lady, this graphic designer, who's designed all of the different typefaces for like highway signs. Like she's the person who standardized like the highway sign font and created the font that we all know and love. Like she did that, and then she did all of the metro designs and the street designs in like the 50s, 60s, and 70s. And so it was kind of an exhibition on like her work and her design process, which was really interesting. But my boyfriend, who isn't a design geek, would have been like, but I don't care about the difference between these 2 fonts. So, you know, fair enough. But I think it was really interesting. It's beautifully curated, and then there's a gorgeous library downstairs, and I wanted to buy everything. I wanted to buy all of the design books. But yeah, I had a really awesome day. Good afternoon. It's been kind of a rough morning. There's been kind of like a lot of craziness at work, and I've been feeling kind of like not excellent. So I didn't actually get that much reading done today. I've started A Court of Thorns and Roses, and mama do I have feelings about it. I know I just made a video about how you shouldn't go into books with the expectation that it's going to be bad, because then you're only going to see the bad things in it. But I'm kind of looking forward to doing like a rant review. I'm actually tabbing everything and like writing down all of my thoughts and feelings. So hopefully that'll be like kind of interesting to like do like a play-by-play of all of the craziness in this book. But yeah, I'm having a lot of fun reading it. I also started the 7th Wheel of Time book last night because my boyfriend and I listened to the audiobook together before we fall asleep. I know it's the cutest thing you've ever heard, and it is excellent. It's just as excellent as you thought it would be. So I'm really enjoying that. I love the Wheel of Time. I think this 7th book marks the beginning of what some people call the slog. So it's like 3 or 4 books kind of in the middle of the series that are a little bit tougher to get through, because Jordan is starting to set up the second major plot arc of the series. And so there's a lot of character work that has to be done. And so gearing up for that, but I do have my boyfriend to offer me moral support, which is something that I think is huge when you're tackling a big series like this, that if you're not going to be the locomotive that's driving you through the series, like for my boyfriend, he was so into it, he like absolutely charged through them, read 14 books in like 2 months. Like he was crazy about the Wheel of Time, so he didn't need any help getting through the slog. For me, I'm reading about like a book every 3 to 4 weeks, like because I read other things intermittently and I'm mostly listening to the audiobooks. So I do need a little bit of help to be like hey Svenya, keep reading. But at the same time, I'm really enjoying just going to like, you know, an Oxfam Books and picking up what they have for £1 or £2, which is what I did yesterday. And now I have a quart of Thorns and Roses, which is something that I never thought I would say. I thought that I was never going to read Sarah J. Maas. It was kind of like a high horse that I was on. I was like, I'm better than other people because I have not read Sarah J. Maas. And now I'm like, you know what? I enjoy a good bit of trash. Selective trash. I like some Cassandra Clare. I hate most other YA romance. But I can give it a try. And yeah, I had grand plans for today to go back to one of the vintage stores. They have a pair of 501s that I was eyeing that were in like the perfect wash. But it's gloomy and I don't want to go outside and I would have to try them on. I want them to be perfect if I'm going to buy them, because at this point, everything that I have here in London, I'm going to have to take back to California. And that move is already going to be a nightmare, and I don't need to collect more things that I just have to ship over an ocean, you know? So everything that I buy, I have to be kind of selective about, and I'm like, do I really want to buy these jeans? And the answer is yes, but also just like, trying something on is just really the barrier that's keeping me locked indoors today. An unfortunate turn of events, because they also had a lot of really cute scarves, and I was gonna buy like literally a million of them. But then I remember that in California I have literally 40 scarves. Like I don't need them. I don't need to just buy things so that I can look cute for a month. But then I'm like, but I want to look cute for a month. So I'm kind of having a bit of an existential crisis on that front as well. So all in all, clothes shopping is a horrible hobby, but one that plagues me nonetheless. Hello, welcome back to the end of this vlog. Last night was a cute little date night. We went to the cinema, but I didn't get any videos of the inside. It was a really cute independent like art cinema, and we saw the Courier, which is the new Benedict Cumberbatch film. And it was really funny because my boyfriend and I had seen the poster for the film in the tube, just like we'd walked past it, and we were like, oh, we know him. And we didn't really think much of it, and then we were like, hey, we want to do something. What should we do? And we were like, hey, let's see the Benedict Cumberbatch film. And neither one of us took a single second to look up what it was about. Lettering appears on screen and it's like, back in 1960, the US and USSR had enough nukes to destroy the world. And we were both sitting there like, and we looked at each other. What did we get ourselves into? So it was definitely more of an intense evening than either of us had been planning, but I think it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed the film a lot. I think the score is so excellent. Like, I think the music is absolutely wonderful. It's so beautiful. And the story was moving. I thought it was well written. I thought it was compelling. I really found no problems with it. And I was like, as someone who doesn't watch that many like historical spy dramas, I was enthralled. My boyfriend, on the other hand, did not love it so much, but that is in part due to the fact that neither one of us were really emotionally prepared to like sit down and watch a serious movie. So he was kind of like making jokes to me during the film, and it was fun. He just wasn't really there for the cinema enjoying experience. But all in all, it was a lot of fun. And then afterwards, we went to a pub to get some real British food. What else did I do yesterday? Oh, you saw I went back to the vintage stores. The 501s were a total bust because none of them were long enough. So that was a huge disappointment. I guess there's only short people here. And I'm not even that tall. I'm 5'7". So I'm really 5'6". I also went into Poundland to get some more yarn. I've been getting into crocheting because my hands are just so fidgety that whenever I'm in meetings at work, I just end up like going on my phone, and I want to be paying attention during work because like I want to be a good employee. So I find that crocheting really helps me. I did it a lot as a kid, so the muscle memory is still there. So it's like an easy activity for me to do kind of mindlessly. And I also like doing it while I'm watching TV, just kind of making sure that I'm not engaging in an endless scroll just to have something to do with my hands. So I picked up some yarn, and then today we went on a big adventure. We went all the way to Borough Market by the Shards. Absolutely lovely. There's some really awesome like hidden gems. Like the neighborhoods there are just like so gorgeous. See, fidgety hands, I told you. I need to put that away. Yeah, so we had like a nice little walk around. We got some awesome street food, and then we took the tube up to Bloomsbury to go to Skoob Books, which is a used bookstore here in London that is like absolutely iconic. The thing is, like, because I bought 2 physical books already this week, I didn't really want to buy anything else. However, I do have my sights set on iRobot by Isaac Asimov, because Apple TV Plus is coming out with an adaptation of Asimov's Foundations later this year. They're supposed to. Who knows when it's actually going to come out. But in order to read his Foundations, you really should be reading the iRobot series first. And also, like, the first iRobot book, like, even on its own without the Foundations, outlines his like 3 rules of robotics, I think it is, which are the principles of like maintaining a healthy relationship with AI that are still used as core tenets of computer science today. So like, as an intellectual thing, as someone who works in tech, it's something that I want to read just for my own personal growth and development. But I also want to read it to dunk on people when the show comes out to say that I read the book first. You know, it's a balance. So yeah, that was my day today. I have not read any more A Court of Thorns and Roses. I'm like literally on chapter 2. It's kind of shameful, but I think I'm going to change that today. I'm going to try and get some reading done and not just play more Civ. So we'll see. Hopefully I do better than last weekend, but I believe in myself. Thank you so much for joining me this week. Hopefully you enjoyed coming around with me. I'd love to keep having you around to chit chat with about books and miscellaneous other things during the week. In the spirit of me being vapid and wanting to read iRobot, let me know what book is on your TBR that's only there to impress other people. I'm really curious to know how shallow the rest of you guys are. But with that, I'm gonna go. Thank you so much for hanging out. As always, it's been a pleasure, and I'm looking forward to seeing you guys next time. Bye.